Strike him out.
2 balls and a strike to count on Taylor. Reyes fires, swinging a drive, deep left field. It's his way back. Walk him off. Let's Taylor.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome into DodgerHeads, presented by DodgerBlue.com. My name is Scott Geirman, senior writer, Dodger Blue. I'm here with my good buddy Blake Williams, managing editor, Dodger Blue. How we doing, buddy?
Doing pretty good. It was a fairly relaxing day for most of the day, and then some news came out near the end of the day, but overall it's been good.
Yeah. Chat, welcome in. Shout out to the 200. We'll let everybody trickle in here. I know we got the Lakers game going on right now. Everybody, thanks for tuning in. Pardon me for my voice. I'm a little bit congested. We're battling here. This is my Michael Jordan flu game. So we're going to keep battling here as long as we've got tonight. We got a couple topics. It's going to be not a subdued show, but we're getting to the off season where we're all just getting ready for spring training to begin. We're looking at the final pieces to the roster, looking at what some things could go good, some things could go bad, trying to pick your dark horses for, your roster here, kind of going into spring training, and some movable pieces, I would say. Blake, with this kind of the slow period here for you, your season, your year for that, from where you stand, being an active member of our Dodger Blue reporting staff, somebody at the top, what's your kind of approach right now? How are you getting prepared yourself?
Trying to get as much rest as I possibly can before the season actually starts and things get 10 times as busy, because for as busy as the Dodgers have kept us this off season, it's going to get more with games and all that and news coming out every day. So yeah, trying to get some rest in before pitchers and catchers report and spring training kicks up.
There you go. So Tokyo series for you ramped up real quick. Hype for that one, huh?
Yeah, we submitted the credentials, I think it was yesterday for that. So I have the hotel booked. So just got to hear back from MLB and book the plane ticket and be good to go.
Shout out to everybody in here. Do us a favor, like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. NS, yeah, we're on a nice concoction. We're doing okay though. We'll keep battling. But pardon me if I've got to, grab some water, blow my nose, stuff like that. It's everybody's sick right now. I think everybody knows 2 or 3 people that are going through something here. But chat, good to see all the regulars in. We're gonna get into some stuff. I know we're gonna talk Ippei for a minute, but that's only gonna be for the smallest, probably the smallest segment we may ever have on DB. I'm tired of talking about him. Good riddance. Then we're going to get into some PECOTA projections. Miguel Rojas, some stuff here. A veteran guy on the roster that, of course, it's hard not to love what the Dodgers currently have going on here, but he's setting the bar pretty high for this team. And lastly, we're going to put to bed all this topic at the very end of the Yankees still being mad, still being upset at what the Dodgers did during the World Series celebration, stuff like that. So we're going to wrap it up later on with some questions. We're going to open it up to as many as you'd like later on. But let's kick it off, Blake. Let's talk Ippei for a second here. Ippei Mizuhara had his day in court today. Kind of walk us through what happened with Ippei.
Yeah, so he was sentenced to 57 months in prison, which turns into about a little over, or I should say a little under 5 years. It's like 4.75 years there. He was sentenced to pay back restitution to Shohei Ohtani of just under $17 million. And the expectation is when he finishes his sentence, he will also be deported because he is not a U.S. citizen. So all the FA stuff is finally done. Get to move on from that, have full closure there. And it'll be nice to not have to talk about that anymore because, like you said, I think most people are sick of it. I was sick of it. A lot of new stuff coming out about it all the time, but it'll be nice just to move on.
Yeah, Ippei, it's just a tired topic at this point. Just a real stain on the early legacy for Shohei Ohtani here with the Dodgers. I'm glad that page turned really quick here, and he goes around and you got to see him play free and turn it in a historic season. But like I said, good riddance. Hopefully, we don't hear from him again. People in chat saying close the book on him. Ippei's done. Yeah. Eden, thanks for that one. Chat, do us a favor again. Hit the like, subscribe, ring the notification bell. It's DodgerHeads, presented by the Blue Wire Podcast Network and Medium Large Sports Media. PECOTA projections here, Blake. This is something that Dodgers are usually at the top of these projection boards. They're projected to go 104 wins here. Is there anything for you that would detract you from having that line of thinking?
all the injuries they've had over the last year and a half or whatever it's been, where it's just been constantly a barrage of injuries. I mean, I think they have the depth to sustain it still, like they did last year, and they'll be fine. They'll
Mhm.
win the division, but it does limit the upside on how many games you can actually win. So I think it's it's kind of pessimistic on a view of their team for the projections side of it. Like 104 wins, this team could easily win more than that. I think they have the talent to pass the 2021 Dodgers that have the franchise win record of is it 111, I think. So
Yeah.
like this team is talented enough to surpass that. Projection systems are going to be like cautious about their projections and not say like 110 plus wins for anyone. I think the Dodgers would have to have like every superstar in baseball for that to happen. But it's it's really encouraging. Like we know the Dodgers are going to be good. I think they have like a 99.9% playoff odds on the projections too.
Right
And
about there.
yeah, they're just like running by everyone. They're 99.8. The next closest team is like 90% or right around there. So, like, we know they're the best team. They just have to go out there and play like they are and show us that they are.
Yeah, Atlanta right there, second on that list at 89.4. Dodgers currently playoff percentage is 99.8. Rest of the division here, Arizona Diamondbacks 66.6%, San Diego Padres 35.9, the Giants 12%, and the Colorado Rockies with a nice fat 0. Um, you know, obviously the games have to be played, but from what we see on paper, that's all we can talk about right now. Um, but with this unit that they've built, it's getting to the point where in recent years for me, Blake, it was looking at the Dodgers have a position group that you could look to upgrade. You could say, okay, they've got a rotation here where things got to click right. I look at this team right now, and it's not tooting the horn. It's an absolute juggernaut. I don't have a piece on the roster where if we're talking about the last man on the bench, that's practically where we're at. Last week on the show, we were talking about getting into the final piece to the bench. That if Kike Hernandez signs, then you're gonna have to get to the option Andy Pajes, go from there. But if you're looking at the front end of the starting lineup here, Blake, I just don't have any qualms with what they've done, what they've built here. The superstars at the top, the role players that they brought in. I don't foresee Michael Conforto. We've talked about we don't see him as a platoon player. Kim, I know you've said some stuff about he possibly might not get the starts every day at second base. Remains to be seen how spring training goes there, but overall, I just have no issues with what they've done.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to have any issue with this roster. They're at the point where they're designating for assignment a good reliever that a year ago was one of their highest leverage options, and now they're trading him for basically nothing. They just have a hilarious assortment of depth and talent on their team that frankly no one else can match in baseball. The 1 through 9, the 1 through probably even 12 in their lineup would be
Yeah.
starters on every single team in baseball. Their top 5 in the rotation would be at least top 2 on every single team in baseball. Their bullpen, they have like 5 guys who could be the closer on any team in baseball besides maybe like 3 or 4 other teams that have like the elite closers like Mason Miller and
Yeah.
Emmanuel Clase type pitchers, but this team is just loaded with talent. It's why all the narratives about the Dodgers are ruining baseball have come up so often. It's just hilarious how much talent this team actually has, and it'll be exciting to see them all play. And like every single night, you could rest a guy, and it wouldn't really hurt the team because the bench is still good, your bullpen's still good, your starters are good. Like even their number 8 starter would probably be in every single rotation in baseball, and that's just kind of the talent that this team has right now.
As I'm trying to pull up the projections for 2024, the PECOTA ones from 2024, and I can't pull that up here. But I feel
I,
like the
I
most
think they had him at
striking
101,
from last year.
100 or 101. Yeah.
So I'm trying to find, chat. I'm gonna pose a question to you as well, get some interaction on this one. Uh do your best to give us and you can get a little conservative with your predictions here, but let me know like what your prediction is for the Dodgers win total. And actually think about it. Don't I mean if it's your knee-jerk reaction is you're saying they're gonna go on and do what say Miguel Rojas, talked about. We'll get into his quotes in a second here. Give me that win total. But for me, Blake, the most striking thing that PECOTA has here is they have the Dodgers at a 21.5% chance to win the World Series. And the next closest team is the Atlanta Braves at 8.2%. that I know that's just an easy thing to say when you look at it, but with the starting rotation they have, the second wave of guys that could possibly come in there and supplement spots, it just doesn't feel it feels like a catastrophic thing would have to happen for them to be, say on a roll and be able to just fill in a spot and go from there. And I'm going to read some of these totals here and give me your thoughts on that 21.5% chance, because that's remarkable. That's unbelievable in pro sports.
I think Fangraphs had them even higher, like 26% or something. So just all these projection systems are really high on the Dodgers, as we know. Like it sounds about right. I think 20 to 30%, somewhere in that range, depending on how high or how low you are on them, is like a really good range for them. And that also means that there's an 80% chance or so that they don't win the World Series, which does kind of track with how we've seen Major League Baseball and forever. Like the best team doesn't always win, the most money doesn't always win. It's really rare that you see teams repeat. So they are the most talented team, and that's why they have those high odds. And I get it. I think they're right on point there. But like Stan Kasten and Andrew Friedman have been saying this whole time, like doesn't guarantee anything. They're still favored to lose than they are favored to win the World Series. Like anyone's going to bet on the field when there's an 80 to 70% chance that the Dodgers don't end up winning. So as talented as they are, as good as they are, as much as the favorites they are compared to every other team, like the likely outcome is they still don't win the World Series, which is the unfortunate part to say, but like that's just how baseball goes.
100%. Like that's when those opportunities come up and it's saying like, oh, you take X team or the field. Like just the odds of what has to happen and all the randomness that's in professional sports. It's sometimes wise, or I would say more times than not, it's going to be wise to take the field. But with these, the analytics, the all these guys, they look and see what the Dodgers have built here, and the rest of the league is just scrambling to catch up for it. And I saw a comment here from Morgan. It's good to see you. I've seen you, in our streams. We appreciate the support here. He says, if half the starters stay healthy, they threaten the wins record. So the Dodgers are chasing, going into the season, 116 wins is the win record here, set by the 2001 Seattle Mariners and the Cubs in 1906. So there's a lot of history there. And you're going back to, Dodgers won 111 in 2022 and got bounced first round. So the Dodgers have to not only repeat, but if you're coming from the camp where, and you're right by saying this, chat, like if anybody thinks that they can go 117 and stay right there, like you're okay making that type of prediction, because it's a team that I don't think I've ever seen top to bottom anything like this. I don't think the league has ever seen it. Chat, if you've seen stuff like in the days, if anybody was in here watching like the Big Red Machine and you've seen super teams put together. I was a kid during the 1990s watching the Yankees. Like I don't remember those teams top to bottom, but I sure damn well remember the dominance that they had. Like if anybody can correct me on this, I don't think anybody has seen anything like this. So that's why 117, they got on a roll. Dodgers just have so much depth where those games where teams do take them off, Blake, they say, we'll play for tomorrow. We're not pushing them today. Dodgers could win so many more of those games just based on the second wave they've got.
Yeah, I do think that might be one of the things that limits them, though. Like they don't play to win every single game. Like I shouldn't say it like that because they are trying to win every single game, but there are clear games where Dave Roberts is just like punting the game a bit, where he's willing to just like say, we can take the loss today, it'll help us win the next two games type thing. Like they manage for the future as much as they manage to win every game. And you have to manage that way at a certain point in Major League Baseball. Rosters are limited, players get tired. There's only so much you can do to win on a nightly basis. So they have shown in the past that they're willing to kind of give away a game here and there to help them down the line. We saw them do it throughout the entire playoffs, and it worked very well. And even when they were throwing those games occasionally, like fans were complaining, and it was creating a bunch of chaos and havoc, but it ended up working out well. So like they're willing to do that. And even in the past, we've seen like even when they're a really good team, they're still going to go on slumps and losing streaks here and there. Like the 2017 Dodgers lost pretty much every game in September. The 2021 Dodgers had some rough stretches here and there. Like baseball is a hard sport, especially now. Like when the Yankees were winning all these games and they had their amazing lineups, baseball wasn't at the same point where it is now, where every single player is so highly specialized and skilled at what they do. Like they were facing some teams that had guys who wouldn't be anywhere near the major leagues if they were playing today. So you have to consider, like, they're probably not going to put up those same stats that like the Yankees were doing and winning 5 World Series in a row type things, just because every team is so good now, even the worst teams. But they still are going to blow by everyone pretty much with their talent on the roster and their ability that they have.
That's a great point. Great point. Chat, you guys are locked in tonight. I'm going to bring this couple of comments to the screen here in a sec. Again, pardon me for my voice. I apologize. I'm starting to get real nasally at this time of the day. It's when we start slowing down. So I want to be on here with good buddy Blake, man. It's always a great time of the week to hop on here and talk ball. Same thing with chat. Dan C says this. It's the Dodgers are a perfect storm of off the charts talent in the the dopest culture. So it's like you look around the organization, you've got prospect, dominance here. You're once again atop several prospect boards here. Of course, Roki Sasaki launches you into into that number one conversation. Just difference on if people qualify him as a rookie on some lists there as a prospect. But you've got that end. You've got deep pockets of the ownership, and you've got what we hear from Mookie Betts going on, All Smoke podcast, that there's just so many guys that are selfless. Freddie Freeman, Shohei Ohtani, Mookie Betts. The stars are exactly who we always hoped they would be. Don't be stuck up. Be willing to help everybody else. Put the work in, and everybody gravitate towards that. So that's what I see. And it's just the perfect storm. I love that. This is exactly it. The perfect storm, the golden era. And I want to bring this one up and ask this to you, Blake. And I saw it was from, I think it was Kira. With the projections from the rest of the league and especially the division here, does Dave Roberts punt more games this upcoming year than he did last year?
I don't know if it'll be more. It really depends on like how the season plays out. If his starters are going 7 innings a night, like you don't need to punt games because you're going to keep your relievers fresh. The problems get into if you have a starter that goes 2 innings, then you have to go out and ask like someone like Michael Grove to eat like 4 or 5 innings to kind of save the rest of the bullpen and get you through the game. So it's really dependent on the players and not as much Dave Roberts. In his ideal world, he probably never wants to punt a game, but sometimes it does just make the most sense to do it, especially in the middle of June, July, August type games where it's just the grind of the season's really getting to you. You got to play thinking ahead. So if the starters are pitching well, like they're not going to punt many games. If a starter gets injured or someone just has an off night, which is going to happen more likely than not, then they're probably going to punt the game here and there. So I don't think it'll be more or less. It might be a similar amount. It just really depends on the players.
Outcome there and stuff, how it goes. And, the scheduling matters a lot, guys. And the scheduling matters in workloads and stuff like that. And the front office wanting to see how a player's performing. It's just this stuff happens early on in the year. We'll see where they're at the deadline. I think it just gets to, we see less holes this time around than in years past, frankly, ever. So you're looking at, correct me on this one too, Blake. What's your thoughts on, the thing that's been on my mind? I've had a couple friends text me. Where does Kike Hernandez fit? So it's like you look at the bench right now, currently constructed. I think it's Andy Pages, Chris Taylor, Austin Barnes, and one more.
If you're going there, or
Miguel Rojas. So Kike Hernandez fitting into that thing. It's like he gets signed to the team. Looks like Andy Pages is the one with the options there. He's got one option. Everybody else on that bench is out of options. What do you do there? Does somebody hit the IL? Does you option Andy Pages and then just figure it out and like you find somewhere for Chris Taylor to go? Or is that where Kim goes in the minor leagues for a little bit? That's the nitty gritty of the roster, Blake. It's never been this deep to find a spot we need to analyze.
I mean, you'd have to ask that again at the end of spring training when you see the performance some of the guys put up, you see who's injured, and like these things always work themselves out. There's going to be a player who's struggling and gets optioned for a little bit, or there'll be a guy who's dealing with something, so they just put him on the 10-day IL to figure that out and like move on and kind of push it down the road. I'm not like too concerned about them trying to fit Kike or anyone else on the roster because, like I said, they always work out. I don't think there's ever been a scenario where the Dodgers are like, we have too many players, we have to just cut this guy who's really good type thing. Like if they've released someone, it's been like Jason Hayward, who they gave him a long stretch to figure it out and he couldn't get it going, or they've optioned James Outman after he had a long stretch of not figuring things out. So it's just kind of like these things always work themselves out, so I'm not too worried about it. If you have to send down Haesung Kim for a week or 2 until someone else gets hurt or does
Yeah,
something, like, it's just kind of the move you make, and it probably wouldn't be the worst thing in the world for him just to face a little more velocity in the minor leagues before stepping into the major leagues to kinda help get his feet wet. It's basically a transitional level from what the Korean talent would be to the major league talent would be, so I think it could be beneficial, but he'll also have every chance to earn the starting role.
100%. We're right in line with that. And I saw GI. It's good to see you. Yeah, brought up that Kim as options. Yeah, agreed. That's why I didn't include him in that bench thing there. And I say that's why he could be the one where they might have built that in like just by chance. It was perfect that hey, we want to give you some time if you need it to be in the minor leagues and not have to because you could see how things snowball, Blake. Like players come over, even a minor league guy comes up to the major leagues and it's overwhelming. It's like a tidal wave. If it goes south for a little bit and he just needs some time just to get timing in, just to figure it out, get with the hitting coaches. If it doesn't hurt to have him be in the minor leagues there. It will work itself out. But I want to say real quick, there is a player that the Dodgers just abruptly got rid of, and everybody was perplexed why. And in hindsight, it was really funny. Is Ahmed Rosario? I remember those conversations, those texts with you because it was like he filled a need, he filled something that the Dodgers did need on the bench there, and they just got rid of him. That's the last one that I can remember.
Yeah, I was surprised by that, but at the same time, they, like, never gave him a chance or anything to really fit
Yeah,
onto the team, so, like, he might have been a good fit for them, but they just
so
never
this
really
year.
went that route, so, yeah. We'll see. He'll be back in, September.
He'll be back in September, and then we'll be saying, yeah, that 300 batting average off the bench, no splits. Yeah, that's what we need. Yeah, that's kind of the only one I can remember here. Um, but Miguel Rojas had some comments here on the Dodgers projections here. He was on the Chris Rose rotation, a terrific show there. Chris Rose just does terrific work there. He has a great rapport with a lot of these players, especially Miguel Rojas. He's been a regular, like, someone who appears on his show for, some years now. Love their conversations. If you have a chance to check it out, we've got a story on there that links you directly to the show. If you just want to pull the quotes, we've got that up on DodgerBlue.com. But Miguel Rojas says, quote, this year, if everybody's healthy, it's another story. You throw those guys out there, you win 120 games. He says, I know it's a lot, but with that roster, you're supposed to go out there and win. Your thoughts on this, Blake? 120 wins. Is that just him saying, we know the roster we have. We know we have a chance to be good. This is just building off of last year. You don't see many World Series teams go out and improve on their talent level. Is that just that? Or this is a belief throughout the entire organization?
Probably a mix of both. I think, like, they know how talented they are and that they are capable of getting to 120. But I also think it's like him just saying, like, "We have a really good team, and we know we're gonna win a lot of games, whether it's 100, 110, 120, like, we're gonna be one of the top teams in baseball again." But, I mean, I don't think any of them have set the goal to win 120 games. They really do just try and take it on a nightly basis, try and win that game and move on to the next one after that. They're not looking ahead and saying, like, "We have to win 120 games today or the season's a failure," type thing. Like, it's a little of both from your question there, I think. Like, he's realistic and he knows how hard it is to win at the major league level. He also knows how much talent this team has, so he's gonna hype them up. They're not gonna go out there and say, like, "We're gonna win 95 games and we're gonna be happy with it." So, yeah, I think he's high on the team. I don't think he's totally realistic about winning 120. He's just, like, making his point.
Yeah. And I think that's okay. I believe in what he's saying there. I love the confidence. I love doing that. Uh, you look around some teams and like Manny Machado in San Diego, and he's just saying, yeah, it's disappointing. It's disappointing that they're not going out there and signing people. I'm paraphrasing, of course, but essentially he's just players outright doing that is a whole different story. There's teams and situations like in San Diego. There's teams that just flat out won't spend, and there's the Dodgers. And then you're talking about Miguel Rojas, who has essentially seen it all, playing years in Miami, being in going with the Dodgers, going to Miami, seeing lows of the low, playing through that, and then he gets this influx of talent and absolutely lucks into. He doesn't even have to be luck. He's a veteran guy that is a great stabilizing piece for a clubhouse, and he's on a roster that, on paper, you might never be a sure bet to sit for somebody to say 117 wins. We can see this. We can see this happen. Ira says his
Yeah.
nickname is the captain. Is that true? Is that his nickname, the captain?
That is what they called him at the Polar Plunge. You've also heard Barnes being the captain, but like both those guys are leaders in the clubhouse in their own way. They make a huge impact. I think Miguel Rojas has really shown his leadership over the last year or so, especially with giving up his number to Roki Sasaki, and he's really taken on a veteran presence role in that clubhouse, and he's an important part of that team.
Yeah, I agree there. With Miguel Rojas, man, hope he's good. Hope he comes into the season good. Legs aren't slowing him down like we've seen in years, but that's okay. Miggy Rowe, do your thing, man. He gave up number 11. He could do whatever he wants.
But Eden put a message here that I think is pretty important, like to put up like how insane it is that we're even talking about like can the Dodgers get to 120 wins? Because you ask any other fan base that question and they're like laughing, no chance type thing. Like we'll be lucky to get to 95. And we're talking about like how realistic is it that the Dodgers can get to 120. And neither of us have said like they can't do it. Like they can absolutely get there. They have that much talent. They probably won't. I put like 99.5% odds on them not getting there, but there's still a window there that they can get to it, and that is pretty crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. Man, we're flying. We're flying tonight. We're flying through these. We're gonna bring it up for probably the last time, hopefully. Yankees are still mad at the Dodgers, Blake. Yankees are still mad. We're still hearing some chatter. I know John Birdie, I believe he was on Foul Territory. Is that correct? He was on Foul
Yeah.
Territory talking about, the Dodgers and some comments with, what's going on there. I don't exactly know who he was referencing, but just overall the Dodgers and how, the Yankees took on Kansas City. They took on Cleveland, made it to the World Series there. And he just didn't like the fact that the Dodgers were puffing their chest out, winning a World Series. They're basically treating them, paraphrasing, of course, basically saying like the Dodgers believe the Yankees just weren't fit to play in the World Series, weren't fit to be there. Like the Dodgers just steamrolled them. Where do you land on that? I know your exact thoughts on how the Dodgers team stacked up against the Yankees. And this is a safe space for you to peel that wall if you want to just let it rip for a little bit.
I mean, so yeah, John Birdie talked about it like they felt disrespected by what the Dodgers were saying. I think it all came from the podcast that they did right after, where a lot of the players were on and talking about that and said, like, the Yankees didn't play good defense, and we know we could took advantage of that. And then, so John Birdie said stuff. Brian Cashman said Joe Kelly's criticism of them seemed personal. Aaron Boone didn't like the quote unquote trash talk from the Dodgers players, but like,
Yeah.
my take on it is the same as like bat flipping and celebration. If you don't like it, play better and don't get beat. And then if you do, like just move on. It's over, whatever. Like don't take it personal. Don't listen to it. Be better next year. Like that's all I really think about it from the Dodgers standpoint there. Like if you want to trash talk, go for it. You won. You were the best team there. And if we're being honest here, the only game the Yankees won in the World Series was the one the Dodgers punted and basically gave them. Like they said, we're going to give you this win because we want to win the next game. So take this win, we'll move on, and we'll win the next one. And then in that next one, the Yankees took a 5-0 lead, and they didn't win that game. So, like, play better if you want to win and you don't want people trash talking your game after it. And the Yankees lost because of the defense there. Aaron Judge dropped the ball. Garrett Cole didn't cover first base, and things just fell apart for them. So if you're going to say like you're disrespecting us by saying our defense was bad, you can't go out there and play bad defense and then get mad when the other people are saying your defense was bad. Like it all comes down to if you don't want them trash talking it, then play better and do things you're supposed to do. Everyone knew the American League was the weaker side. Like a lot of people felt like the NLDS between the Dodgers and Padres was the World Series this year.
Yeah.
Like the Royals were fine. The Guardians were a fine team, but none of them compared to the Dodgers, the Mets, the Padres. Like the NL was just on a different level this year, and that's just how it goes. Like the Yankees still complaining about it. It just seems like they're really upset. I get it. You lost the World Series kind of embarrassingly. The Dodgers were a much better team in the World Series, so just play better next year and stop complaining about them talking that they won.
John Birdie had 66 at bats in the regular season this last year. He had 11 at bats in the postseason for the Yankees, and he didn't even make the World Series roster because of an injury. That's not his, that's not his fault. I understand he's a part of a team. I understand some of the stuff about if you want to say the Dodgers had to win, game 1 in a walk-off fashion, game 2, the bullpen nearly blew, whatever. If you're asking yourself, Blake, and you're looking at the 3 teams, ranking, we talked about this. The conversation I'm talking about, chat. Blake and I had a conversation about like ranking the 3 teams the Dodgers faced in the postseason as far as like the power rankings there. I think 1, it's the San Diego Padres. 2, in other ways, you could argue the New York Mets. And then 3, it's the New York Yankees, flat out, just because of I didn't see any matchup with the New York Yankees that they beat the Dodgers in. I just didn't. I'm not afraid of wasn't afraid of their lineup. After the first few, drops off. Starting rotation, Garrett Cole, then who else? Bullpen, no. So that's what I can see. That's kind of where it's at. Like, I'm not looking at the Yankees and saying that they were the number 1 matchup the Dodgers faced in the postseason by any means. Zero chance. Chat, you guys were in here too talking about after the division series against the San Diego Padres there. And that was it. You could see the relief on everybody that was the mountaintop. And it was we were talking about on here, we were pretty open that once they got over the San Diego Padres, that was kind of it. I don't see anybody that can stop the Dodgers. And nobody did. So as far as like the conversations that New York Yankees players and making remarks about what Dodgers have said, sure. A lot of it's Dodgers players puffing out their chest and, after the fact, they won the series and go from there, right? Like that's a lot of what the Dodgers can do. But to what Chris Taylor said, the Yankees, down their leg, man. They did. They in those biggest moments, you saw the bonehead moves right in front of your face. Stanton getting thrown out at home, countless infield errors, countless throwing errors, at bats that just flat out looked uncompetitive. So it's just, that's where it's at. It's over talking about it. There's nothing more to say. Yankees lost. Their biggest weaknesses got exposed. That's it. And yeah, NS brings up Cole putting it first is the memory he'll die laughing at. Yeah. In a nutshell. All the talent right there, but they just couldn't put it together.
Yeah, they completely fell apart. They had multiple chances to win and just handed the Dodgers the games pretty much every time. And I think the funniest part is that it's John Birdie being the player talking about this. Like, I had no clue he was on the Yankees. I thought he was still just on the Marlins over there, kind of being irrelevant. And then, like, I found out he was on the Yankees talking about it. And I'm like, oh, okay. Did he even make the roster? I don't remember him. And I found out, yeah, he was hurt and didn't play. So I don't know. It just feels like a very weird player to come out and talk about it when you didn't really contribute to the team at all. Like, it's weird.
Yeah. So chat, that's where we're at. I've no problem doing it. I've had, countless conversations with people in the media, sphere, just like the same thing. Yankees fans, I've talked to them, same thing too. Yankees content creators, same exact conversation. They understand what they saw. They're just as frustrated as that, but it's just, I get players trying to clap back. But John Birdie is not a member of the New York Yankees anymore. I think he's a Chicago Cub now. It's just the series was over. The series was done. 3-0, you're 1 game away from being swept, and that's just how it goes. The games the Dodgers lost against the Mets and the Yankees were ones that it was just a punted series, like a punted game, essentially. That's just how it was. So close the book on that. We'll move along.
I'll close the book with this. I will say, like, for people who don't know about Birdie and that much, like, him talking about this is like Taylor Trammell talking about how much better the Dodgers were and how they just destroyed the Yankees. Like, Trammell took 5 at bats with the team, and like, no disrespect to him or anything, but it's just not the kind of player like you're gonna put much stock into them going out and talking about it. Like, he's gonna get his ring and all that,
Taylor
but
Trammell, man.
like, he was on the roster for a bit, and then he didn't do anything in the postseason because they got rid of him. And like, no disrespect to Trammell, but like Birdie, you're kind of in that same camp there. Like, you just don't have a lot of room to talk about this. If he was on the roster and playing, sure, share your thoughts, whatever. But I don't know. It just seems very weird for a player that was not relevant to the series at all to really talk about it and get upset by it. Just my view.
I will say the last thing about the New York Yankees, they had a fine offseason. I don't agree with their projections there. I think they'll do a little bit better than 88.9 wins. I think they'll be right around, 92, 93. I think they're better off than they were this last year as far as depth pieces wise. Come on. Come on. They're just clearly not doing enough. And it was really rich. It was really rich of, Cashman, Steinbrenner coming out saying some stuff. I know, those back end parts of the quotes are giving credit, to the Dodgers, like Steinbrenner had. Giving credit to what the Dodgers are. Not many teams can do what the Dodgers are doing. You're the damn New York Yankees. You can go sign whoever you want. Let's keep it a buck. That's just how it is. You got beat. You got beat in the offseason. You didn't want to pay Yamamoto $1 more than Garrett Cole. Yamamoto shoved. We know how this goes. Yeah.
I do think Cole's point here is relevant too, real quick. Like, Dodgers wouldn't be talking like this if fans weren't trolling. Like, everyone. Well, first they got 2017 stolen from them. They should have won that. And then 2020, it was the Mickey Mouse ring. Like, no one counts it or considers it a real championship. You're gonna trash talk that for years, and then like expect the Dodgers to not talk trash back. Like, no, they've won 2 in 5 years now, and they're gonna talk about it now. They proved that they can win it, and like, you didn't think 2020 was good enough, so they did it again, and now they're saying, yeah, we're good enough.
Yeah. Nomo, yeah. I mean, I did a little article about the Steinbrenner comments too. Brought up like at the very bottom of the article on Dodger Blue talking about that. I was like, yeah, the team didn't want to pay Yamamoto $1 more than Garrett Cole because you just didn't believe it. They just could not fathom that someone was going to make more than Garrett Cole. Seems just about as ridiculous. If you know he's a talented player, seems about as ridiculous as the facial hair thing. Give it up. It's done. Stop this. It's 2025. Let's not do it. Come on. What are we talking about here? But before we get too far, Blake, chat, some people were in Clint Pacias' stream and Kevin over on All Dodgers Pod. And I promised some people in chat that I would get into some of my favorite Dave-isms. And I want you to think about your favorite Dave Roberts sayings because you know mine. And so later on in the show, after we do some questions, I want you to have your favorite Dave-ism. And go into your notebook, whatever you've got to do on your computer. Yeah, Timmy, I got you. So chat, same thing. Right now, do me a couple things. Think about your favorite Dave Roberts isms, his favorite lines, his one-liners. If it's the same as mine, then we're all, you get incredible graces in my book. But toss in those questions. All caps question. Follow it with whatever you want to talk about. I'm going downhill south pretty quick here. But I'll stay as long as I can. As long as my water bottle's got water in it, we'll stay on here. But all caps question, go through there. I know we're a few weeks away from spring training beginning. I need it. I was talking to my girlfriend, talking about how I needed a break from baseball following the World Series. Off season is a time to regroup. Just never happened. I'm ready. I'm ready, Blake. I'm tired of talking about projections. I'm tired of talking about the final man on the bench here. I want to see Kim playing second base. I want to see him every day there. That's something I'm looking forward to. I want to see Michael Conforto. I want to see how it shakes out. I want to see if there's any surprises. Somebody who you can trade for some dart throws. That's the stuff in spring training I like to look for. Where's my Brad Miller? Who's my Brad Miller this year, Blake? That's what we're going to talk about in the next couple weeks.
Okay. Well, questions are coming in. Give your voice a rest for a minute. We had some from earlier in the show I'll get to real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
Got my comments on my hat. I saw a few people asking about it. This is a Darth Vader bucket hat from Columbia. You can see inside, it's upside down, it's got Vader in there. And on the side, it's got the Empire logo. And on the front, it says Vader in Arabish, the Star Wars writing. So, yeah, that's my hat there. Got it from Columbia. And then, somewhat related, I also saw about Star Wars night questions. I saw a few of them here. So, about the Star Wars bobblehead. And so, for anyone who hasn't seen it,
tell us your plan.
It's basically this, but with the Death Star on it, on top, instead of the Falcon. And it also lights up like this one does. If I can find the switch here. There we go.
That's sick. That's one of the best ones ever. What's your plan this time?
So, for the context here, media gets all the giveaways that are stadium wide, like the bobbleheads, the hoodies, the shirts, stuff like that. Media does not get the special ticket package items, which is the Star Wars one. So last year I didn't end up getting the tickets, and I had to buy that on eBay for quite a bit. So this year I bought a ticket for the game. And since I'll probably be there working anyways, I'm just giving them to a friend to go get them
Yeah.
for me, and he can go watch the game for free, and I'll get the item there. So yes, I will be there, probably working, and I will have the ticket. So yeah, someone else asked if I was going to be there.
W.
And
Real
rating
quick.
it, I'm
Yeah.
gonna give this one an 8. I think
Has
last
to
year was a
be.
9 for the Falcon. Although it kind of fits the idea of like the Dodgers being the evil empire this year type thing. So it fits. I'm still pushing for them to do a CT3PO bobblehead. I think that would just be perfect. That would be a 10 out of 10. It's something they have to do, but I don't think they're going to go with it.
If he makes it that long, Blake, if he makes it that far,
He's going to be on the roster the whole year.
I know he'll be there. Some people have been asking that too, and I'm like, it's just they don't do their players like that. I want to put this up here. Morgan doesn't have a question, but he says just got accepted in Cal State Northridge. Excited to join the Matador family. Go Doors, baby!
Yep.
Shout out
Congrats.
to the Doors, man.
Morgan, do you know what you're going to major in? And feel free to reach out if you need any help with anything CSUN or any questions about it. Always happy to help. Got a lot of Doors family in the Dodger media realm.
Yeah, absolutely. Any questions there? And I might be seeing you in the fall, Mark. So we'll see. We got some. Yeah, we might be going back. We might be going back to school. We'll check some stuff out. But congrats, absolutely everybody in chat. Congrats to Morgan. Real quick here. I know Timmy asked this one. I've seen it a couple times also. With the roster overfilled to the max, this mean no Brent Honeywell? I'm afraid I don't think there's a spot for Brent Honeywell, barring something else. But maybe.
I kind of feel like if he was going to be on the team, he would have got his minor league deal already. I think they're just ready to move on. They're basically replacing him with like Michael Grove, who has options. They traded Ryan Brazier because he doesn't have options and he's better than Honeywell. Honeywell doesn't have options, so like I don't really see a spot for him.
Yeah. Yeah, people saying, yeah, rip Honey Goat. Yeah, that was a good time. Honeywell over Chris Taylor. Yeah. We know. All right, let's get to some else here. Kira says, Blake, are you getting the Hello Kitty squish for Nora? It's a good question. Yeah.
I don't know. Does she want it?
Yes.
Okay, we'll see what we can do there.
Looks like you got a homework assignment.
I think there's 2 Hello Kitty giveaways this year.
They're going crazy. Yeah. Didn't they added a second one because the first one was such a popular thing, of course. Like, yeah, Hello Kitty's everywhere. Just came out with a video game. I know Nora hasn't heard about that yet. So yeah, as long as she doesn't hear about that, I'll be saving some money. But yeah. But yeah, Hello Kitty squish coming soon. Let's see. G-Rob, if you could only go to one of the Padres series promo nights, which would you go to? It's got to be the World Series trophy, right?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. I love the pettiness. They're embracing this. And this leads right into the super chat here. Don't Care says, love the Dodgers embracing the evil empire Death Star. You have to. That's a quote we've been talking about for a bit. Even last year. Remember we were talking about building the Death Star, doing it. Now they're just in. They're all in there. So I love the design. If you haven't seen it, I'm pretty sure we have that. We have that on our website, DodgerBlue.com. I'm pretty sure we have a story about it. And I'd be blown away if you were the one who didn't write it. But it's a crazy good design. I love it. It's a beautiful thing. Let's see. Iris says, are players going to move away from Boris after the Alonso fail? Iris, I don't know how much of a market. I know he has a fine market, but a lot of the players are looking for long-term deals and they're just not happening. Like a lot of players are having to settle for these 3-year deals with a series of opt-outs. Like the Mets gave him, I think reportedly offered him 3 years at a different AAV, but then he got an offer for, like he signed for 1 and then an opt-out, which, to reset the market, it was a weird market this year. I think a lot of teams are waiting for possibly some stuff to change with the CBA. They just don't want to lock a player into a long-term deal like Pete Alonso. I know he's been on the field. I wouldn't want to sign Pete Alonso to that, but it's just the first baseman market's always weird. Like it really is weird. It definitely is. Yeah, GI says this. Most teams look at first base like another DH spot these days, for sure. Paying a first baseman in the realm of like 30 million a year is quite a lot. Like I'd give Freddie Freeman 30 million. That's just because Mr. Iron Man there has got the track record. It's a fell into their lap. So I think it all depends on the team if you're willing to shell that out there. But a lot of teams don't want to commit big time money to a first base spot where you can give some guys some day off, and that's kind of where it is. Any thoughts on Big Polar Bear Pete Blake?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's a Boris issue. I think it's an MLB owner issue of not wanting to spend money and being very critical of the types of players they're signing now. Yeah, I don't think anyone. It wasn't Pete with someone else and declined that offer and then went to Boris after. I'm pretty sure that's how it worked out. Someone correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think it's a Boris thing. Like Blake Snell got paid this year. He's a Boris guy. Juan Soto is a Boris guy. It's just teams are not being willing to spend all that much right now.
Yeah, I'm not sure there, but yeah, I agree with you. I think there's a big thing, just like we saw with Flaherty. There's a lot of players out there. Alex Bregman's still going on. Like for whatever people think about Alex Bregman, he's a productive player. Like there's still names on the free agent market that have value. Um, Bregman's being a little stubborn, wants the long-term deal, and I understand that. That's a player where I understand. I definitely understand. He's got track record when healthy. He's a productive piece. I know people couldn't care less about him, but you got to understand from a player standpoint, like a team should be spending. Yeah, boo, I get it, but teams should be signing him to at least a 5-year deal. That's someone where there's a market out there. There should be for him for a player who can move around the diamond and play. Yeah, I know nobody likes that. Let's see. Eden just says, think we can beat Imanaga? Yeah, absolutely. I think the Dodgers have one of the best rosters, well-equipped rosters to hit left-handed pitching. Common sense here. How tall is Blake? You're tall. Yeah, you're tall. I'm short. Chat, like I'm not a tall dude. I'm in the gym. So I realized early on, I was like, I'm not gonna get any taller. I might as well just get wide, just lift a bunch. So I'm short. I'm 5'7". I look up at Blake like, what do we got going on here? How tall are you? Like 6'3"?
No, like 6 foot or 6'1" or something max.
Oh, classy,
I,
buddy.
I don't know. I haven't measured my height in a very long time.
This dude's out here. Jim was 6'1". I guess you just 6'1". Whatever.
I'm
Next question.
like, it's short compared to everyone in the clubhouse, pretty much, besides for
It's
like
insane.
Mookie and Tommy Edman.
Yeah, there we go. BC Scott looks 5'10". Shout out to you, man. Yeah, I'm gonna ride with that. Yep. How wide is Scott? Mack truck. A unit. Absolute unit.
You know that
Scott's shrinking. You guys are insane. You get all the low hanging fruit. You guys are nuts. Shrinking the older I get. This is crazy.
there's that old video meme where they make people wide and put the music with them. Like I think it started with Vladimir Putin, and then like there's a Kershaw one for it. If anyone has seen that, you probably know what I'm talking about. Like that's Scott going around there.
Oh man. Let's just say it's impossible for me to find pants. Leg day goes crazy, so it's just like it's an impossible thing. So I'm always in sweats. Sweats or I got some jeans, and that's other than that, wearing some short shorts, man. You and me both, short kings, 100%. Eden says, yeah, she's a girl, but that's tall. Yeah, make me feel real good. You guys kick me while I'm down. You fall asleep at any moment. Kick me while I'm down. Okay. Glad this is here. What's the first thing Blake will do once he sets foot in Tokyo?
Probably walk to the airport exit, or I mean to get my luggage. Then exit, probably head to the hotel, put it all down. If you're looking for a real answer here, probably grab some food or sleep or
Where?
relax or something.
Where? If you
Where
tell
am I
me
getting
McDonald's,
food?
I'm zooming out there.
I don't know yet. I have to figure out what's near the hotel, and we'll see.
Oh man. People are wanting you to eat
Not
sushi, Blake.
No, I'm good.
Yep, ramen with pork belly, please. Yeah, gas. Iris, gas. Amazing. So good.
I've only had ramen once, like real ramen, not like the store-bought dollar ramen packs that you put in water.
That was good stuff, huh?
Not my favorite. It was good.
Man, you need to do some vlogs. Yeah, common sense says it too. You need to do some Tokyo vlogs, or just go live.
I
Connection
mean,
might be crazy.
I did the live snack eating in Korea, so didn't work out well for me, but I think the chat enjoyed it.
I don't know where I was. I missed that thing. I missed it. I got to do it.
It was a weird time, I think.
Okay. Yeah. We'll have you. We'll put you to work. You'll be working. No days off there. All right. What's your favorite Davism, Blake?
There's so many. I think some of the beat writers last year wrote about, they called them Docisms on his birthday.
Docisms and
So, like, there's a lot of good ones. Giving a player a runway, good one there. His highest compliment is calling someone a baseball player. Like, yeah, that guy's a baseball player, man, type thing. Um, what is my favorite one? I mean, he always uses hopeful for things like injury stuff, and yeah, I
that's
don't know
fire.
what my favorite is.
I got one. I got one that I
maybe
might put on in my room.
maybe catch play. Like,
Catch
yeah,
play.
he's out
I
there
was gonna
playing
say
catch play.
that's not my favorite one, but I will say Dave has ingrained in my mind that it's no longer playing catch, that it's catch play. And I feel embarrassed if I catch myself saying, "Yeah, I want to play some catch." Nope. Nor are we to go up some catch play today. So
Yeah.
thank you, Dave. But mine,
Um,
Eden right here. Eden's got mine right here. I like to compete. I like this. I like this compete. You know, Blake, I was talking to the girls at, softball practice. They're out there. Infield was great. They're out there, you know, but glove down, butt down, getting that, throwing to first base, good pop times there. I like to compete. That was good stuff. Yeah. It's
yeah.
ingrained in my everyday speech.
So MLB story, they had the fingers for like game calling. He threw down the fingers well tonight type thing, even though it's pitch com now. So that's
That's
still a good
crazy.
one. Um, he has moved the ball forward. He said it at least 17 times before or after a game, and it's
You
about putting the
counted?
ball in play and not striking out. They did in the story, yeah.
That's amazing.
Runway. He has nitrozone. I don't remember nitrozone, but they have it in the story.
Permanent for now. Elite.
Yeah, he only used that one once though.
That's a
So
great
like
one, though.
it's
Oh
good,
my
yeah.
God.
Oh, I
There's
like
so many.
they put this one in the story, but every single time he's asked about a new pitcher, he starts out by like saying their pitch repertoire, and he's like, "There's a fastball in there, there's a curveball in there, there's a slider in there." Every single time, like clockwork, and it's kind of funny because it's always
Man, he's so good. Sign says, got the softball team running like their army practicing in the rain. I mean, I'm not gonna say no practices are canceled this week, but last year I know they were playing in the rain. Not my choice. I wasn't a coach then, but this last practice, man, first base, second base, and third, mud piles. Guess who? Guess who was out there? Field and grounders in the mud. Them.
Scott has
Cardinals,
them.
gritty ball players.
Scott has them waking up at like 6 in the morning to get there for a 7 o'clock practice
Saturdays.
till 10. Like, no. Scott
Yep.
Scott's coaching style is from like the Mike Vrabel tree there for our
This
football
guy.
friends.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that's what Scott grew up on.
You want to know the best part though? Is that I'm teaching them like stuff that they'll understand. And we'll talk. My coaching style is that we'll talk through what works and like why it works. And like if I see something click, why it made sense. So like I'm very, very verbal in that way. And I think that's just like the best way to coach, just for me. And I think it works perfectly, especially with kids. And the stuff that like I'm teaching them, like we're teaching delayed steals, and that's electric. Like you're 8 years old, 9 years old, learning delayed steals, like baiting the catcher in a throwdown. Yeah. I mean, it's a little bit mean, but teaching the aggressiveness something, Blake. Like all parents in the chat, you guys will know. Amanda, chill. Like it's all love. Like they're having a fun time out there for sure. But like it's just about once you see that aggressiveness kick in, that's when you know they're getting it. Like that's when you know it's like it's all fun. but you want them to be, you want them to be aggressive. You want them to, take advantage of some stuff when you can. It teaches them to be thinking on their feet instead of just like, I've got one task here. You want them to be, relax. You're stressing out. You're stressing out. I'm not running like a drill sergeant. It's all love.
Scott has them running polls for every error they make. So
Crazy.
yeah, he's a hard-nosed coach.
I do have a rule though. If I forget a name, and if I forget a name, I got to run a lap. And that's the thing I do implement on myself, and they keep me honest about it. So definite.
Okay, why is everyone talking about the public bathhouse in Japan and how I should live stream from it?
That's crazy comms. Crazy comms.
I'm gonna decline that until someone explains better if that is what that is inappropriate to stream.
Man. A couple more questions here. And then we'll hop on out of here. We appreciate everybody. Thank you so much. Ryan says this here, says, can a player that has no options left agree to be optioned anyways? I wonder if Kike would be down to be iced until some injuries, and then we can thaw him out in August.
I believe they would have to be designated for assignment, and if they clear waivers, then they can choose to stay in the organization and go to the minor leagues, or they can ask for their release. So yeah, they technically can be optioned without options, but it's a longer process. If they were going to do that, they'd just sign them to a minor league deal, which would have happened already. So yeah, yes and no.
Chris said, going hard on the young ones like a specific Sith Lord that I know. Blake, do you care to explain?
Yeah, when Anakin turns to Darth Vader, he goes to the Jedi Temple, and there's a bunch of kids hiding, and they show him lighting his lightsaber, and then the screen changes.
This is crazy. You guys are out of control. Relax. Call me old. Call me short. Nuts.
We didn't do old today. We can.
Yeah, you just not reading chat like I do. I'm locked in. Chat's my favorite part of the stream, not you. That's not true.
It's true.
Blake's my guy. One more question. Whoever gets to it first, that's the last one, and I'm gonna get us out of here.
You can edit with some Super Bowl stuff since it's right here.
Ooh. You got one? You got one in mind here?
I mean, I'm rooting for the Eagles, I guess. I really don't care. If I had to pick, it's the Eagles. I don't know. Just kind of
give me your conspiracy theory outcome, Mr. Blake Williams.
Conspiracy theory outcome?
Yes.
Like how crazy do you want this to be?
Whatever.
Chiefs are winning in the final 2 minutes, and then Tom Brady walks out of the locker room in an Eagles jersey and leads them to a comeback win. Great for ratings there.
My conspiracy one that is just, it's plausible because we've seen it. Chiefs driving downfield. They're in like a 4th and 20. Mahomes just throws one up there to Travis Kelce. As the ball is flying through the air, the camera pans to Taylor Swift, and a phantom flag is thrown. Automatic first down. Chiefs go in, touchdown, ball game. What do I want to happen is, I'm a Titans fan. AJ Brown's my favorite player then, my favorite player now. Great dad, great human being, awesome guy. I want AJ Brown to get Super Bowl MVP, 2 touchdown catches, goes for like $180. Philadelphia Eagles, Super Bowl champs. That's it. That's what I want to see happen. Just feels like a 3-peat's inevitable. Script writers have it down.
Okay, Hector asked this one earlier, so we're going to get to it because we didn't. If everything goes wrong, how many games do the Dodgers win? I think you have to talk how are we defining everything here. But like, let's say 3 injuries in their starting lineup and 4 pitchers get hurt.
How many wins?
I go like 94.
I was going to say 96. I was still going to be there. I still say they'd win the division comfortably. But I do like what the Arizona Diamondbacks have going. But I think they have the division. I don't think they necessarily have to do much for it. PECOTA's got them like 96% for the division. So appreciate that, Hector. Yeah. things can go wrong. Things do go wrong. The Dodgers are in a position to fill those holes better than they've been in long time, definitely. Chat, we appreciate you again, Blake. Thanks, buddy. It's good to have you in tonight, man. Every week.
Wait, real quick. Who's the GOAT? You know who the GOAT is? It's Tom Brady.
It's Tom Brady now, but Mahomes
Nope.
wins
Nope.
another one. There's
Nope.
an actual conversation to be had here in the next couple years.
Wrong.
I just said it. I just answered.
You're getting muted. Nope. You're done.
I just answered that as like honestly and level-headed as I could. I just said Brady's the GOAT. He's the GOAT, man. He's the GOAT. Iris, don't deadlift. It's terrible for your back. But I'm a unit. Just take the word for it. Chat, again, appreciate you. 1100 across all social media here. We're in the dog days of off-season talk. So bear with us here. We've got a lot of awesome content coming up here. Once spring training gets rolled around, we're going to have some good ideas coming in. Some really engaging stuff there. My favorite type thing to do is really look at the dark horses of the team, really analyze stuff. You could start to pick up on a lot of trends. So that's the thing that I really like to dive into around spring training. Blake and I have some good cohesiveness on that front too, and stuff to look out for. So excited for that. Excited to do it. I saw a question about spring training here. Barring last minute changes, not looking so good for a spring training appearance here for myself. But we'll keep you posted. Absolutely. We'll talk next week and then go from there. Just do us a favor, like, subscribe, ring that notification bell. You knew this was coming, Blake. What's the final thought, man?
I actually didn't think of a final thought here. I saw someone ask if I got Disney Sea tickets. No, I have Disney Tokyo or Disneyland Tokyo, whatever it is. So no, maybe I'll get the other ones. That's my final thought. Also, you're
Thanks,
wrong
Mr.
about
Blake.
Mahomes.
W. Blake, as always. Everybody, we'll talk to you soon. I know somebody asked about it in there. Dodgers still 2024 champs. I know you guys love that. Yeah, keep tuning that in, watching those games back, consume all the media you can. Enjoy this downtime, and then get prepared for the grind just like us. All righty, everybody. I'm going to go rest up. But as always, guys, we'll talk to you soon. We'll see you later. Go Dodgers.